those of you who don't know, straight out of the zoo, they're disbanded. Shock announcement over the last couple of days where they said they have disbanded. So I believe the Straight Out Zoo Academy will be going down with it. And that's where we see Mata here today on the Eclipse Esports. He's played against Evolutions and also the Amateur League skill set. So he's got a lot of experience under his belt to bring towards this team. Now he's joining the Eclipse team to hopefully ride them into victory to the top of the leaderboards. Mitch is known as the in-game leader for the team of Eclipse Esports. He's the initiator and, well, he's been playing with Inters in Feb. He played with Cracked in July, and then 1620 Kings at the end of July as well. So now being here in Eclipse, he's brought a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge from other teams. A lot of these teams have been known to play at those higher brackets as well. So what can he do to be able to lead his team into that victory role that they hopefully can get out of their in-game leader? Then you have Navy, or I believe in this match he'll be called Spaghetti Mafia. He's a duelist Flex. Raznov, who's a controller in Flex, and Shaddy, who will be named RVRA. He will be another controller. These three players have only played for Eclipse, and so they will be coming to terms with the competitive scene, coming to terms with how it all operates in the LPL leagues and the skills that a lot of people have on show for us here. Now, their opponents today, DaBouys. DaBouys is a recently formed team in the LPL league. Looks like a lot of players are ready. Let's ready on the casters, and we're about to jump in. So, good news for you, a little bit of spoilers. They've recently made their debut match. This is DaBouys against 1620 Kings Academy. Unfortunately, they went down 13-6 on Bind. With their first match out of the way, though, the nerves, the jitters, anything sitting in their bones, a little afraid, a little scared, might now be out of the system. They're cleansed. They are ready to take the fight here to Eclipse Esports tonight. And, well, hopefully secure their first win. But this win would do more than just be a single digit. They would move from 32nd, their placing on the ladder, to 15th, which would be a huge gain. And, well, it will make them one out of 3 in the tournament so far. There was a second game that they didn't play, which was a forfeit, so they've only played 1, but they have technically lost 2 matches so far in the LPL league. And, well, all players on this team have only recently started playing in LPL since they formed the DaBouys team. Well, they're not bringing experience from other teams. They don't have that knowledge of how other teams operate, think, and kind of bring that together and bring it into a cohesive environment. There we go, get the word out. So they're kind of learning as they go, and what better place to do that here in the LPL scene? And with that out of the way, thank you all for joining. I hope you have a good evening, wherever you are, morning or lunch, because we're about to jump into the game, and we are going to split. I just noticed I don't think I changed my overlay over when I started talking. So, my apologies, guys. My apologies. So, do we have the right teams? No, we don't. We don't even have the right... Quickly check. Alright, once again. I am all over the place. Cool, we've jumped in. Players have locked their match. We're about to jump into the game. And, well, the only real unusual pick here we've got is going to be that KO. But we'll talk about the players in a second. Over on Eclipse, we got Astra, Viper. So there'll be a lot of your... Actually, this is a very interesting lineup coming from Eclipse. You don't have your 2 duelists, which you see often. You've got your single one and Raze. You have a lot of ability impairing effects, such as Vision Apparent and Sight Apparent, which you've got your blinds coming out of that sky. You've got the smokes capability from your Viper, your Astra, your Cage of Cypher. So we've got a hugely defensive team here on Eclipse Esports, whereas on the opposite side of the team, you've seen a lot more standard of a lineup. Maybe fairly more aggressive, because your Omen usually gives you quite a bit of aggression with your smokes. Then you've got your Jet, who obviously your duelist gets in on site, initiates the fights. GG, well played. You know, your standard Jet play. You've got your Kyle. I can't believe I've got a name. KO, there we go.
Area.
Will be... I was quite a KO in Sky. KO is going to be able to create a lot of information gathering along with that Sova, but also be very aggressive with those flashbangs and locking down those utilities from their opponents, which is going to be heavy as they're a very ability-based lineup from Eclipse Esports. So, players are on site. I guess he's going to get no damage incoming from that shock dart as IKR has now made his way around, popping around the corner, getting ready to open up. He's hoping for that peak after that spike went down. He's going to get a few shots, but he won't get the kill. Agasta is going to snap at him and he falls down to get on the ropes. He's going to be cleaned up, leaving Wolfie and that Omen, the last one surviving. That Omen gets one at least, but he's got 4 more to deal with. They've got plenty of HP, and he will fall. Eclipse Esports make a very fast and quick opening to this. So, we're looking at the boys, and fairly interesting. They've already thought about potentially picking up a sheriff, but it's only on a single player. Are they hoping that Augusta has the capability to pick up a few kills and destroy their economy while being able to protect the economy of the rest of their opponents? Or is this just a little bit of a miscommunication coming out of the team? They're getting a little few likewise. They're going to be prepared to fight down here. You're going to get a lot of information disabling the utility capability from Eclipse Esports. Well, Eclipse Esports waits for that to dissipate because they're not being aggressively pushed, as there's really no firepower coming from the boys. The other side of the map, Daddy is making a little bit of noise, hoping for a little bit of rotations, keeping their attention. The owl drone is going to come out, however, and scout that there is no one else down here left as Raznov does not manage to do a little bit of damage to that KO. He's going to retreat as they now plan their attack up here in mid. Are they going to go over to A side? They're going to go up to top. Gusta might peek around at the right time here. He's going to come around, but he's not checking the corner. He'll get killed. He loses that sheriff. The economy's down. Over on the other side, Mark is going to get a few shots. Gets his second. He's going to quickly retreat as IKR is now all alone here over the B side, making his way up. But I don't feel like he's going to be able to get too much done here. There's utility being used against him.
Spike planted.
Sitting on this corner. The spike's being planted. It's going to force Xander Panda to come around.
Last player standing.
Maffia's going to get that kill, leaving Xander Panda the last one alive. MTCH, or maybe Mitch, is going to be finding a little bit of information. They now know that is where Xander Panda lives. He will go down.
Was a work of art.
So, with that buy-up come from Augusta, he is going to be on, well, pittance is the word I'm looking for. He's going to be picking up that ghost or spectre, sorry. I said ghost. Picking up that, no, it is a ghost. I apologize, chat. For some reason, I am knocked out of it. I want to blame the Pfizer vaccine because I got that yesterday, but it's not. I'm just a terrible caster, and you're going to have to deal with it. So we're going to be seeing not the greatest of buys coming out of the boys. They didn't really have the funds to do much. I mean, they got specters, pistol, and, well, yeah, hope is really it. As IKR, unfortunately, looking a little bit too high there. He's going to miss the head of his opponents as Spaghetti Mafia leads the charge up here into heaven. Shaddy opens up down the side, but the Fate does give him a little bit more room to move on in. The Paranoia does land on multiple, but no one there to capitalize on the kills as Xander Panda is going to be making his way down bottom here, hoping to find someone swing. He sees the backside, but
last
not
player
find the
standing.
shot. He's the last one standing. The rest of his
Spike
teammates all
planted.
falling. He's up against the entire side of Eclipse, and he will shortly go down to the strength, to the power. Spaghetti's finally turned around. He's going to find himself a kill. No, Xander Panda actually gets it. Xander Panda found himself second. He cannot, unfortunately. Eclipse making them way to a comfortable 3-0 scoreline.
Watching this spot.
So far, they've only taken 2 deaths, and that will be on Spaghetti Mafia. He's been the one that lead the charge onto the sides, open them up, get the kills, and then he just falls down for the rest of his team to capitalize on what he's won for his team. Fortunately for the boys, they haven't had much success in finding these kills. They've had some good angles, but they just haven't been able to find the shots. The reaction speed's just been a little bit too slow.
Revealing
The
area.
speed that Eclipse Esports is coming at. But once again, we have spoken about the boys. This is their first time as this team composition. Well, third match. So they're still getting used to running in this competitive environment. Okay, I was going to get the shorty, but he doesn't get the second shot off in time. The first one does a little bit of damage, but not enough to finish the job.
Spike planted.
Going to be avoiding the blind. That's getting off. He's on the hunt. He knows there's some up here. He's so good. He gets one. Swings
One
gets
enemy
the
remaining.
second. Xander Panda, the last one alive, again on the retreat. Paint shells have got a come for his face, doing a little bit of damage. Almost cleans him up.
Satchel out.
Spaghetti Mafia's trying not to die with all his heart. He's only got a few hit points left to his name. Xander's got a dream. He's got a hope. Takes a few shots. He's revealed where he is. Will he try and turn and capitalize against Spaghetti Mafia? Mafia will decide to go the other way. He doesn't want to try and contest. Not with his hit point pool. And unfortunately, we've lost another round of the boys as Eclipse continue their straight shooting rounds. We've got a timeout coming in from Eclipse. It's a little bit interesting to see the Eclipse be the ones to call the timeout here as they are ahead. Usually you want to try and call it to break the momentum of your opponents, but here you're really only breaking your own momentum, pulling your hands down a bit, potentially giving the boys the capability to think about what they need to do, what's kind of not working for them, and how do they try and solidify that. So far, we haven't been seeing the greatest of utility usages coming out from DaBouys, because at the moment, they need to be able to coordinate that utility, just slow down Eclipse, because Eclipse are just running all over the top of DaBouys. We aren't seeing slow play, we aren't seeing this split across the map, see who will peek or try and wait for any aggression from the defender's side. Eclipse just barrage down a point. They choose a spot, they run, they gun, they win. So DaBouys, to try and counteract us, they need to be looking at using that utility a little bit more effectively. Which is a little bit hard because they have an aggressive lineup. They are trying to be getting these kills. That Sky should be able to open up the fights for you with that blinding light. But it just hasn't really been the case so far. Now we move into round 5 after the time that's been called. Razunov's going to be given away his location. Instantly Choff has made his rotation coming over to the B site as Trailblazer almost lands onto Xander Panda. Actually, you see a kill from Razunov down the side, and unfortunately they've lost the mid-ground position as well as they start storming the heaven. Even they are the last one to try and challenge this as PCH, which I believe someone said in chat is Matter. So Matter's going to be coming around. He sees the shoulder and finds the kill. This time, Choff is the last one standing. He's up against 5. This is not an unfamiliar sight at the moment. He's got to come down into the crosshairs of Razunov, and it's 5-0. The Ultimate Adventures are looking fairly even on both sides. Of course, with the deaths of Eclipse. Oh, sorry, not of Eclipse. With the death of DaBouys, they're constantly grabbing that ultimate charge as it slowly moves up. Eclipse, on the other hand, well, because they're not dying, they're not grabbing ultimate charges. They're only getting the ultimate charges from whether they secure in the stage or the kills that they find. So they've got themselves raised with that showstopper, which could be one to watch. Spaghetti Mafia has been doing a great job of entry fragging so far here in this match. Gonna be looking and following in that Trailblazer. Gonna get reconned, but unfortunately, DaBouys didn't really pressure it any further. They're getting a lot of information, but you can see the blinding light was used, but Wolfie's already disappeared back into Pakistan A. So when they do use their utility, they aren't following it up and they aren't capitalizing on what opportunities it could open. And, well, again, Razunov opens up the round, finding a kill this time in middle. As DaBouys are still trying to hold, they're going to start rotating on out here, but Spaghetti Mafia, not one you want to be meeting in a dark alley, let alone these vents. He will John McCain your rear end. Yes, is going to be looking away, and this could be unfortunately poorly time for him as he backs away from the blinding light. He gets killed from the rotation coming from the ropes. And Panda, he has a little movement. He's swinging at the right time.
Last
He sees the
player
leg,
standing.
but he shoots. He gets one. He almost got a second one. Now he has to be on the retreat. And the spike is going to
30 seconds left.
A little bit surprised they didn't want to throw the spike over to Matter, give him that ultimate charge, as Spaghetti Mafia is still running full ultimate charges there.
Satchel out.
And now Spaghetti Mafia will run on into those crosshairs. Hey, someone just mentioned turn my mic up. Will reflect change in 3 minutes. Xander Panda is now trying to fight. He will get flash up as he tries to avoid it, but he's got a big grab. Matter was there. He was there and waiting. So hopefully that sounds a little bit better for you. Please let me know in chat if that does sound a bit better. I have been playing around with my microphone settings recently, as if anyone who works from home uses Microsoft Teams, their program is a pain for anyone who's got more than one audio device, and it's been affecting my quality of my microphone recently. So I've been playing around with the settings. I apologize if it has been low. Hopefully it sounds a little bit better now. Please let me do know. As we move into round 7, 6-0 for Eclipse Esports.
Fire in the hole!
And the showstopper's coming out. Spaghetti Mafia making all that room. He finds one.
Obliterated!
Simple as that. Try and get rid of that recon bolt, which won't really matter too much as they've already started to storm the side. Nice flash coming out, stopping that Marshall being out of control and locked down mid. Counter fighting right comes out. He gets a shot to the chest. We're hearing a lot of noise coming over. Ooh, he gets stabbed! And then Spaghetti Mafia finishes him off and gets a double, but instantly falls down to Wolfie. That's a little bit of disrespect there, Mr. Spaghetti Mafia.
Seek them out!
Wait, I was wrong. MTCH isn't Matter. I am terrible. I've been calling him wrong. I'm just gonna go back to
Last player standing.
Chat ruined me. This is why you need to get your names
Give me a corpse.
connected to the same as LPL so I don't get confused, because I am terrible with names.
I have
This
retrieved the
time,
spike.
we're actually seeing the capability of DaBouys coming out. This could be the first round that they will pick up here in this match. They have a 2-man advantage, and this time they're just going to be locking down the A side.
30 seconds left.
They're playing together, they're playing duos, and this is what you need to do when you have that man advantage and you have the unknown of where that offensive player is. Now he's going to go inside, he's going to start planting that. He doesn't have any corpses here to be able to get the information with that neural theft. So how will he play this as 2 comes up to heaven? Raznov, he's going to be keeping up, peeking at garage. The noise of that cam has gone off. He's going to hear 1 has dropped. He's ready. He's going to swing. Doesn't find the kill. IKR will get the first round on the board for DaBouys.
Gun
The
here.
first one is always the hardest one. Once you get that first tick off the board, you get a little bit of feeling you know you can take Eclipse Esports. We did see Eclipse Esports take their foot off the pedal just a little bit with Spaghetti Mafia running around with that knife, trying to find himself a little bit of a cheeky kill towards Vents. We'll see if they will do that again. Once you lose that first round, you're like, oh, okay. Now their opponents, they're coming here to play. Be a little bit more coordinated. Not necessarily play without food, Spaghetti Mafia. So Aka and Choff will be looking at defenders A side push. They're going to get a little bit of information as that dagger comes on out. Actually didn't suppress anyone. Surprise. Spaghetti Mafia goes down. IKR gets 1. It avoids the flying just long enough to get out of the crosshairs of Raznov, but he will still go down unfortunately as Choff is holding that lobby and that ramp. Relocate coming from Xander Panda trying to get on into help.
Spike planted.
Assert dominance onto this A site as Choff is now making his way down. He gets taken up from Shaddy. Shoddy.
I know exactly
Now the neural
where
theft
you
comes out. They know the 3 players, 1 up in heaven and the other 2 looming from defender's spawn. They've got the knowledge and they're feeling quite confident with their mechanical abilities. This should be around falling in favor of Eclipse Esports.
Standing
here.
ahead.
Recon bolt's going to come out. It's going to get instantly shot down. They might have saw 2 bullet trails there. Come for that. How are they going to do it? Shock dart comes out, but Raznov peaks at the right time, catching him with his pants down and a bounce. Wolfie's going to be trying to fight at a long range distance, but Shaddy's got that secured. Xander Panda, last one alive, hoping to secure and keep this weapon as MPCH is going to be looking around. But Xander Panda shuts that down, finds himself a nice bit of bamboo, and beats the living daylights out of him. So, the funds are a little bit disjointed on DaBouys. One Jet has an operator, one Sova has a sheriff. So, it's a very mixed buy coming from this team, as their funds have been a little bit all over the place. They haven't really created the rounds where they've all had weapons at the same time. That's kind of creating this mixed buy scenarios where you're hoping when your opponents fall and you can recover it. Maslov goes down to that operator. Their opponents definitely would not have expected that with the way the funds have been going, unless they've been keeping an eye on the scoreboard. Then trying to avoid the Trailblazer, runs into the entirety of the Eclipse as they make their way up. They've been shown, but they haven't dealt with it. How does he get away with this?
One
It
enemy
should
remaining.
not happen. Shaddy switches out to his classic and then cleans up in heaven. That should not happen. He was standing halfway outside of that orb as it seemed like everyone was reloading. Well, Eclipse, they got away with murder as they move up 8-1. You got two ultimates to play with, one about to come online with the Astral Divide. Well, their opponents of DaBouys, they've got themselves 3. The other 2 have already been used. Those 3 should be enough to at least create an advantage, whether that be KO trying to be aggressive, find himself a kill, maybe die, get resurrected. Almost Phoenix-esque style of play there. Or the Jet, which we have here. The daggers out. How well can we see IKR with clicking these heads? Wolfie narrowly avoids getting taken down. Actually throws out the flash. It should hit a couple of them. Wolfie's still firing from heaven. Still finding stuff here. As he gets traded out 1-for-1 so far.
Spike planted.
The shots are not there from IKR.
I've got
Man,
your
are too
trail.
strong as all the Seekers go up. He sees 2 heads, but his own head is the one to receive the lobotomy.
Hawk out!
Flashing down into the corner, but he can't get in there because he's self-flashed, and there's also the pressure coming out the back of A sites.
Cover going
He's
down.
going to be able to pick himself up one. Wolfie is going to get flashed
Last
up,
player standing.
creating his own coffin there. He's going to see Xander Panda try and run. The flashes are coming out. He's back into this position. He was comfortable here last time. Can he find himself another kill? Will be Shaddy coming this way. Xander Panda, he's waiting. Shaddy pops around, but Shaddy will this time win, unlike his previous teammates. Moving into round 11. We will be seeing a timeout, this time being called from DaBouys. They were able to pick up a round. Xander Panda is able to hold his own with IKR and Wolfie. Unfortunately though, Choff and Augusta haven't been able to find the damage or the kills there to really support the rest of the team in these starting to get closer and closer engagements. At the start, it was kind of a pushover, but now Xander Panda, IKR and Wolfie are coming online. They're getting it closer and closer, keeping it even. We've seen multiple times where it's a 2-on-2, 3-on-3 situations. Choff or Augusta still alive, but they haven't been able to find the kills or really support their teammates in securing the rounds. I know I haven't spoken much of Eclipse, but they're just doing things right. Your initiation of Spaghetti Mafia really opening up these sites, controlling the momentum, the pace of the match, and the rest of the team are just flowing through with Spaghetti Mafia. And there's just nothing DaBouys have really been able to do about it. Now as we come into round 11, the boys have got a little bit of time to think, a little time to talk. They've got KO available again with the Hunter's Fury. Look to see Augusta probably hiding a little bit further back, maybe not put himself in the firing line, so he can use the Hunter's Fury to potentially grab himself at least some damage, potentially a kill if Eclipse Esports are not able to escape the pain that is coming out. And pretty much come off the ball, and there we go again. Choff and Augusta are the first 2 to fall on Eclipse Esports as IKR has been able to find one. You're going to hear the Trailblazer so they at least know that someone is still over here at the B sites. That's it. The rest of the teammates have fallen elsewhere on the map. These two players are going to have to try and retake against 4. Hey, I'm okay for friendly banter, but we can't just have casual insults being thrown out. Links, so I'm just going to time you out just for a few seconds. Gonna have a 1 second timeout. We don't want any name calling going on in this chat. So we come back on in. Xanderpan and IK are going to be coming in and out, but they're going to run into the crosshair of Spaghetti Mafia. Spaghetti Mafia is known to hit the shots, but not in this instance. IKR will go down with Xanderpan on the follow-up.
Last round before the switch.
Our 10-1 scoreline. Eclipse Esports are running away with this game. They haven't really been able to be challenged too much by DaBouys. This is potentially what Eclipse Esports wants. Because as I said at the start, Eclipse Esports, they've got 1 win underneath their belt. And that was against Pogues on Icebox. It was a 13-11 win. So they're sitting 16th currently on the scoreboard. If they can win here, this could move them into the top 10, which is where they want to start challenging these amateur league top teams in the bracket. Justice is going to be trying to hold this down. He really needs the help from his teammates to be able to deal with this nice flashbang. But unfortunately also got a Gaster. But it's going to stop him from dying just a little bit longer. Tries to get around that corner. And now we got the showstopper coming on out. It shoots, it hits, but doesn't find the kill. It's desperately need. IK's able to get one with the help of Wolfie. That's the crossfire you want. That's the teamwork you need. Can they continue to work this? Wolfie goes out and challenges the able to find it off. Also gets his first one on the board. Can they secure this round? He does get flashed up, he does get killed. Even Xander Panda and Wolfie to start rotating onto Mata. Xander Panda is peeking without the help of Wolfie. If he gets killed here, it could be disastrous. But Xander Panda does pick up for the second win in this match.
Switching sides.
And now with the boys on offense, can they show us a little bit more of their kind of individual skills? Offense is about 2 things. You either really go with the individual opening fraggers to create the site pressure, as we saw with Spaghetti, or you can do these hard, well executed set pieces where you have everyone coordinated with your smokes and prepared for them. That might not be the way the boys want to look at, because so far their utility hasn't really been followed up between each other. The communication might not be on, or they might not have correctly planned the utility use to be able to create the openings on these sites. It could be a few things. So whether they will try and use the capability of their teammates and their skills mechanically, especially IKR, who's been getting these kills on Xander Panda, might be a little bit more better for their offensive take here. But they are up against Spaghetti Mafia, and this is the last person you want to see. And look at all the damage that's been done so far to the boys. They've all taken so much. Spaghetti Mafia's still holding the sideline. He just says, keep running into my crosshairs. They're not double peeking him, and he's just taking these shots. He's feeling comfortable. He's feeling confident. Now that Cypher's moving into position because he wants a piece of this action. Spaghetti Mafia's finally going to go down.
Spike
Razzle,
down
however,
A.
is going to return fire. Find one, find two.
One
One more to
enemy
get, and he
remaining.
does clean it up. Choff. However, is in an unknown location here. He might walk in the crosshairs of MTCH. MTCH playing with him, and he will secure the kill. Now we're an 11-2 scoreline. Unfortunately, the boys, they have a choice here. Do they pick up extra weaponry, try and go for the win, try and force by it, shut down Eclipse Esports' capability? Or do... Well, it looks like we might be having a knife fight. This is going to be interesting. So, if you know, my camera doesn't rotate, so we're going to try and find ourselves a nice little view here in mid. As they start running towards each other with those knives coming on out. This coming in. Oh, the first one down. Eclipse Esports goes down. Mata dash away from the jet. Make sure he doesn't go down at the server. Return fire. Spaghetti Mafia doing so much damage with the knives. And the Panda, though, is also on a triple over the back here. Chop. And Spaghetti Mafia is on the fight. Chop is the last one alive. He has to deal with two. He gets flashed. He's got to quickly run to avoid being flashed. The flashes again. Everyone is flashed as they chase down Chop. The Chalbros is coming on now.
One enemy remaining.
Killed by the grenade. Chop says, I've had enough of your flashes. I'm going to counter you with a frag of my own. Flashback. Gonna flash out, but unfortunately, he's just got to get himself. As now he's going to come on in. MTCH is the last one to deal with him. He's going to capture the orb right in front of him. A little bit of disrespect as MTC throw out his little heal. He can't do too much there. Playing with each other. This almost feels like CS surfing right now. Ooh, a little bit of dodging backwards and forwards. Choff wants to find this for his team. He needs that round win. He gets flashed up. He gets chased out. MTCH goes for it and stabs him in the face. Cleans it up for a headshot. Takes out the neck.
Match point.
And we will move on to the final round that the boys can potentially lose. Because they lose here, there goes the match. There goes the map. There goes another loss onto the scoreboard here in the LPL Amateur League. We got Odin's. And they're going to be spamming down middle here. They're just firing into the hard defense. The paint shots comes on out. They're just bursting down with all the Odins. It is deadly as they come around the corner. Look at them into the fire line. Mafia going to get finally killed down. IKR, but return fire with the Odin. This is just
one enemy remaining.
As the Odins walk on in and clean everyone up. Choff the last one alive. We heard a GG coming out from Wolfie, but Choff doesn't want to give up yet. He's still too alive. He can still get the orb here. Could this be a premature GG? No, it will not. Mata will clean it up. There'll be a 13-2 storyline for you. And we will be seeing Eclipse Esports make their way back into the top 10. Actually, it'll be the first time they're in the top 10 because they've got 2 wins underneath their scorecard. So let's have a look at the scoreboard. I always like looking at first bloods because first bloods is a real good indicator of how a lot of these rounds play out. And IKR, one of the leading first blood killers on the team, which really shows that they can find the one-on-one trades with IKR. Same with Xander Panda. Spaghetti Mafia and Raznov done fantastic that match, especially Raznov on a Cypher. Usually he'd be locking it down, but he's been playing pretty aggressive. Those first bloods really give you an indication that they were able to take a man advantage some of these rounds, but unfortunately they got let down by a few of the other players unable to either return fire when IKR or Xander Panda died after they got the initial kills, where Eclipse Esports was able to, or unable to just find kills in the match when it really came down to key components and key elements in the rounds. So, I want to thank you all for tuning in. This is our first LPL Amateur League match of the night. We got a second one coming up a little bit later. It will be of Hale versus Zero Day. And it will be Zero Day's first match in the LPL Amateur League. So, it'll be interesting to see how they play. And it'll be Hale's 4th match, as they are currently sitting 31st on the ladder. So, they want to be able to win that match to make their way back up to top 15. Because the top, I think it's 13 to about 20 are very close in the ELO rankings. We are only in week 3 of the LPL Amateur League, so it's very close and tight-knit between that midfield pack, whereas some of the top teams are starting to run away with it with 3 wins in a row and grabbing a lot of ELO at the top of the scoreboards. This is going to be more of another midfield pack of the Amateur League of Zero Day and Hal. New versus who's already got a bit of experience in the league and hoping to make their way back up the leaderboards. Anyway, that's enough rambling. I want to thank you all for tuning in, supporting both these teams, both Eclipse Esports and also DaBouys. Hopefully we see DaBouys continue to improve over the season. I really would like to possibly cast them again later on in the season to see how well they've improved and coordinated. Hopefully becoming a cohesive unit, because that's what this is all about, really. The Opens, the Amateur Leagues, and even the Evolution League in one essence is all about creating new teams, jumping on in with either friends or new players, and getting better together. You're all challenging to become into the Legends and start making your name also on the Valorant Oceanic Tour. Unfortunately, the Valorant Oceanic Tour is already done for the year in terms of the qualifying, but there's always next year. And that's what a lot of these teams will be hoping to get that practice in and make their way up into that point. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in. Hope you have a good morning, afternoon, or evening wherever you are. Stay safe, stay healthy. Another game coming up in about 20 minutes. So tune in then if you like, or have a good evening. Anyway, bye for now.